The Fox Virginia News at 10 is next. Tonight, Congress leaders decide to agree on overall spending to avoid a government shutdown. We've talked with Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger about what she thinks.
If we make a decision to bring students and staff into school, we want to be absolutely certain that we are going to be able to get those students and staff home again safely.
And multiple schools closed for the day in Central Virginia due to hard rain and blustery winds. We have the latest.
Didn't really have much in the way of wind, but some parts of Central Virginia saw over 3 inches of rain today. I'll tell you if there will be any more rain overnight and if there are any more soakers in the extended forecast. It's 10 o'clock. Time for the Fox Virginia News.
Now, Fox Virginia News at 10.
Well, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Alexia Williams. We'll get to all those stories in just a moment, but first, here's Travis with the Fastcast.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
Well, we got some rain today. More than a little bit. Most places getting between 1.5 and 3.5 inches of rain, the highest amounts found in parts of Nelson County. Now, the heavy, steady soaking rain, that's out of here. There are still some leftover showers, particularly around the Route 522 corridor from Lake Anna down through Mineral. Also, a couple of showers in Lexington and Buena Vista that'll move through. So we're done with the heavy rain, just a couple of scattered showers between now and about the midnight hour. One thing I've noticed too, we've got some fog developing. So overnight travel, be aware of fog and that some places may still be flooded. Some of the back roads we still have until 11:30 p.m. midnight. Flood warnings in effect for most of the area. That does include the city of Charlottesville. Creeks, streams, poor drainage areas may be over capacity and maybe a little flooded. Temperatures continue to warm though. 53 in Charlottesville, 54 in Scottsville, orange at 54 in Louise at 56, much colder in the valley. The rain will end altogether by midnight with lows in the lower 40s, and then tomorrow a bit breezy at times with a mix of sun and clouds and high temperatures around 50 degrees, but we don't have long to wait past Wednesday for our next soaker. I'll tell you when it gets here in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Travis. Our top story tonight, 2 passengers in Albemarle County experienced a scary moment when their car was flooded with rainwater. Around 6:30 tonight, Albemarle County Fire Rescue units and police responded to an incident at Watts Passage for a water rescue. Upon arrival, they found a vehicle with 2 passengers stuck on a flooded roadway. According to a release, when water began to flood into that vehicle, they then climbed onto the car's roof. They were then swept off the vehicle and into the water and held onto small branches until water rescue teams reached them and brought them back to safety. Both individuals were transported to UVA Hospital for treatment. ACFR wants to remind drivers to never enter a flooded roadway. They say almost half of all flood-related deaths happen in vehicles. Water levels are high throughout the area and will continue to rise even after the rain ends. All that rain is the reason that schools in Central Virginia made the decision to close for the day. Now, it's not typical to cancel classes due to rain, but Beth Chuck with Charlottesville City Schools says that this is a decision they were confident in.
There were forecasts for very heavy rain, for high winds, for even possible flooding, not only in the city of Charlottesville, but in the communities where our teachers need to commute home to. And so we just want to be very careful. If we make a decision to bring students and staff into school, we want to be absolutely certain that we are going to be able to get those students and staff home again safely.
Albemarle County Schools says that they considered a lot of things, especially their bus drivers working early in the morning and late in the evening.
They're up starting their routes at 5:30 a.m. until 9 a.m. That's a long time to be on the road. Lots more potential for danger. Not only that, but we have many student drivers, 16, 17 years old, just having gotten their driver's license. And we have to factor that into consideration as well.
As of now, schools will resume again tomorrow as normal. Congressional leaders announced Sunday that they have reached an agreement on the overall spending level for the remainder of 2024 as they seek to avoid a government shutdown later this month. Fox Virginia's Garrett Whitten spoke with 7th District Representative Abigail Spanberger to see if she's confident if it will pass. Garrett.
Yeah, Alexia, Spanberger says the looming shutdown is less of a threat this time than it has been in the past. You'll remember in November, the House voted to prevent a government shutdown. Republican Speaker Mike Johnson had to work with Democrats after hard right conservative conservatives opposed his plan. Now, according to Democrat leaders, this time the $1.6 trillion deal includes over $800 billion for defense and over $700 billion for non-defense spending. It's slightly above the nearly $1.6 trillion deal that was reached in a bipartisan deal last year. It includes changes to discretionary spending that was part of a side agreement between President Biden and then House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Now, Spanberger says this spending bill that is likely to pass with bipartisan support details how much spending Congress can allocate for the fiscal year 2024.
The next step is the actual full-out appropriations in terms of allocating dollars across all of the different departments and programs within the government is the next piece of it. It's a lengthy process.
So far, none of the annual appropriations bills that have fund the government have made it through the Republican-controlled House and Democratic-led Senate. Instead, Congress has been relying on short-term funding extensions to keep the government operating. It is now facing two fast-approaching deadlines to prevent another shutdown. Veterans programs, transportation, housing, agriculture, and energy departments are funded through January 19th, while funding for 8 other appropriation bills, including defense, expires February 2nd. In the studio, Garrett Whitten, Fox Virginia News.
All right, Garrett, thank you for that report. Well, after a nationwide bus driver shortage, one local school says that they finally have enough drivers to support the needs of their families. Fox Virginia's Gretchen Stinger explains.
Charlottesville City Schools announced 5 new bus drivers are joining their transportation team. This addition means over 1,800 kids are guaranteed a ride to school.
From the beginning of the school year, they have been able to meet the needs of the students who most needed the bus. We ask families to evaluate their needs, and they help us with that. And what this means right now is that the last of those kids who had the low need have been added to the bus.
This has been in the works for months.
When we first started talking about it back in October, we didn't know if it was going to be a reality because it takes a while to hire someone, train them, and get them on the road.
This was the reaction after those 5 drivers passed their test.
Oh, look, when we open up the routing system and we see there's no one waiting for a bus, I mean, there's no better feeling than that, that all the families that really need to get their kids to and from school and need that assistance, they have it now.
Out of 4,500 kids who attend Charlottesville City Schools, 1,400 are car riders. CCS wants families to know if they are in need of bus services, they are there to help.
Our families actually, interestingly, what we find is that they often are almost underreport their need because they really do want the kids who absolutely need the bus to get the bus.
And if they really are struggling to get their kids to and from school, we want to know about it.
Parents can reach out to schools if they need to change their transportation status. Gretchen Stinger, Fox Virginia News.
Big news now from Monticello. The Thomas Jefferson Foundation, which runs the famous home, is buying nearby Mickey Tavern. Their board president says that it's part of a long-term plan to preserve that corridor. Now, Mickey Tavern's offerings won't change and reservations are still there, but the foundation has hired a third-party company to manage all food services at the tavern, Jefferson Vineyards, and the Monticello Visitor Center. Fox Virginia has heard from some concerned foundation employees that they will need to reapply for their jobs, or their jobs may disappear altogether when the change in management happens. Here's the board's response.
We have amazing employees at all these locations, so that's not what's really being looked at right now. It's kind of how, what is the service and the hours and how that operates. Our goal really was to bring in a partner that understands food service at cultural and historic institutions.
He also says that their food service locations are meant to, 1, feed people, and 2, give an educational and historical experience. The transaction for buying Mickey Tavern will happen sometime in the spring, and a price hasn't been finalized yet. Devil's Backbone is known for lots of delicious drinks, but UVA fans are going to be flocking to the location even more than they already do when they hear about this Hoorah IPA. This IPA is a beer that has tropical, juicy flavors with not a lot of bitterness. Filled with UVA alumni, the Devil's Backbone team said that this beer seemed like a no-brainer to make. Being able to be part of the excitement and sporting events in this way allows Devil's Backbone to connect with the community who has given them so much success.
Devil's Backbone is Virginia's largest craft brewery, right? And so it's our job to make sure that we're always building connections with things that are important to Virginians all around the Commonwealth. And obviously UVA is a huge piece of that. And so we want to make sure that, we are making the officially licensed product for UVA.
The Hoorah IPA is available at grocery stores near you and obviously at the Devil's Backbone locations in Nellysford and in Charlottesville. A massive winter storm is walloping the East Coast, leading to millions under severe threat. We've got the details after your local Weather Authority forecast with Travis.
Our severe threat winding down, still flood warning in effect for a good chunk of the area until midnight. How much more rain do we have in the 7-day forecast? Are we going to see any snow? Talk about it after this.
Hello, I'm Kirsten Ashbaugh from Wilkinson Wealth Management, and here are your stocks of local interest for today.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
And we begin as we usually do with the JES Skyline Network Cam time lapse. This one from Cho, though we didn't have much deviation from the atmospheric flight plan today. Low clouds, fog, rain heavy at times, and still a little murkiness left over with a couple of showers about the area. One such line trying to hang on around the Route 522 corridor to our east. Some clearing happening west of Charlottesville with a couple of sprinkles left over on the mountaintops. So I think everything will be completely out of here by midnight, which is also when the flood warnings in effect for Central Virginia will expire, if not before. Afton and Piney River, 3 3/4 inches of rain today, over 3.5 in Palmyra. UVA grounds also getting about 3.5 inches of rain with Esmont in southern Albemarle County at 3 inches plus and about 2.5 inches outside of Rio Road Studio. I've got a running tab at facebook.com/Travis Koshko WX. You've got a rain gauge. You want to tell me how much you got? I would greatly appreciate it. Still, for about another hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, we've got that flood warning in effect for most all of Central Virginia. Some swollen streams, creeks, rivers as well with minor flooding, some water-covered roads if you were traveling overnight. Please, if you encounter a water-covered road, turn around, find another route. It only takes about 2 feet of water to float most cars, trucks, and SUVs. But again, these warnings will start to expire around 11:30, and for Central Virginia, everything should expire right around midnight, if not before. Warming up, though, 51 degrees in Charlottesville compared to 39 in Stanton. Much colder air to the west, which we'll eventually get here, but not really overnight. Our overnight lows will be around 40 in those places. Absolutely huge system and a lot of moisture with it that continues to stream into New England. Now, the upper level storm system, the driver of this will pass through tomorrow. Sun cloud mix, maybe an isolated shower. Now, it didn't have much in the way of wind today, thankfully, but I do think it'll be a little breezy at times tomorrow as this low pressure system moves on through. So, collectively speaking, your forecast tomorrow, kind of a sun cloud mix, if you will, and temperatures ending up around 50 degrees in the afternoon. Unfortunately, it looks like my computer is frozen out, so we're at the mercy of technology right now. But needless to say, it's not going to be nearly as wet as today. I think we'll have a really good chance to dry out. So Futurecast just kind of showing a sun cloud mix for Wednesday. And then I think we go totally clear on Thursday. That will allow for sunshine. But then once into Friday and Saturday, that's when we'll entertain another system. It won't be as wet as the one we just got done dealing with, but a good bit of rain could be heading our way. Still, we need it. Clearing skies late tonight. There will be pockets of fog. Overnight lows will be in the upper 30s and lower 40s. And then for Wednesday, sun cloud mix, breezy at times, maybe a sprinkle later in the day. Highs around 50. Cardinal Home Center extended forecast. Rain late Friday into Saturday. Turning much colder for early next week with 30s and lower 40s. Rain possible next Monday into Tuesday morning that could overnight end up as a little bit of snow. So snow lovers, don't give up hope. Not a guarantee of accumulation, just saying, hey, potential is there. Something we're watching in the days ahead.
Well, I would love to see some snow on the ground. That would just make my year so much better.
I can't tell you how many comments I've received on Facebook asking, where's the snow? When are we getting snow? I know you're out there. A lot of you want snow. I'm working on it.
All right. Well, thank you, Travis.
You're welcome.
Across the nation now, a winter storm is walloping most of the country. Over half of the U.S. population remains under wind alerts from the south up to the northeast. Jen Sullivan is tracking the severe weather that's wreaking havoc all across the country. Take a look.
A powerful winter storm slamming the East Coast. More than 40 million Americans under severe storm threats Tuesday. This system spawning multiple tornadoes in Florida's panhandle.
Is everyone okay?
The fierce winds knocking this home off of its foundation. The storms devastating communities, dozens of homes and buildings flattened. 49 of Florida's 67 counties under a state of emergency. And the severe weather is still not over. Much of the threat lingers through Wednesday morning.
These storms are going to be capable of producing widespread damaging winds up to 70 miles an hour.
The storm knocking out power to hundreds of thousands of people across several central and southern states Monday afternoon. On a Georgia highway, a fallen tree severing this car, killing the driver. Meanwhile, the Northeast bracing for widespread flooding. Some areas could see up to 4 inches of rain overnight.
I urge all residents to use extreme caution.
All of New Jersey now under a state of emergency. Crews on standby for water rescues.
We're preparing for the worst.
New York City and surrounding areas could see wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour.
When you get over 70, then it's a very dangerous situation.
One of the greatest concerns is coastal flooding. The storms also crippling travel. Around the country, at least 1,000 flights have been canceled and 7,000 more delayed, according to FlightAware. In New York, I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
You're watching Fox Virginia News at 10. Thanks to you, the #1 rated 10 p.m. newscast in Central Virginia.
Welcome back. It's 10:30. I'm Alexia Williams, and you're watching Virginia's Own News at 10. Time to check in with our chief meteorologist, Travis Koshko.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
Just reviewing my handy-dandy list of rainfall totals from the day. I mean, there were a lot of places that got over 3 inches of rain. Mentioned Palmyra, Montebello, you got 3.5, 3 inches plus at 2 different places on UVA grounds. Troy, you got 3.29. Madison, thanks Larry, 3.15 inches. And talk about a soaker, and just imagine if it were all snow. Yeah, snow maybe in the far extended forecast, but short term, not really. So we still have a lot of flood warnings in effect for Central Virginia, but as far as rain is concerned, showers just fizzling out to a whole lot of nothing. So as far as the overnight goes, it'll be fairly quiet for Central Virginia. There you go, a better picture of those flood warnings that'll expire at least around midnight in most places. Louisa, Fluvanna County, yours are going to go till 7 a.m. on Wednesday. I am concerned about some fog developing, a little more in the valley, but a lot of isolated pockets, so be careful for fog overnight as well as water-covered roads. If you encounter one, turn around and find another route. A few sprinkles on Wednesday, breezier than today, and we do have more rain coming in extended and maybe a little wintry weather, which I'll talk about in detail in just a couple minutes.
All right, Travis, thank you. Well, we all know technology evolves fast, and officials at this year's CES event in Las Vegas hope that visitors can keep up with all the action. Fox News correspondent Jackie Banez takes a special look at some of the gadgets turning heads and how artificial intelligence-powered devices are expected to dominate.
Red, green.
Fabulous Las Vegas is getting a high-tech makeover as CES 2024, formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show, kicks off Tuesday.
We'll have over 4,000 companies exhibiting here in
literally 2.5 million net square feet of exhibit space.
The event gives inventors a chance to show off their gadgets to potential partners who could help their products grow to become household names. And this year, you can expect many devices to be jam-packed with artificial intelligence software.
AI that learns from the past, it keeps gathering data and learns from it and does things better.
Like these personal assistant robots from the company Enchanted Tools, which are expected to start helping nurses bring supplies and medicines to patients in French hospitals. Meanwhile, AI is also installed in wearable tech like this robotic exoskeleton that lets the user walk and run faster.
It automatically detects your running posture and your intent. Any tool will synchronize your motion. So you can push the ground much high impact.
And even this headband that tracks your brain waves and sleeping patterns, while AI creates personalized audio guides that help you fall asleep.
We do have the integrated bone connection speakers above the ear to deliver via vibration through the ears to the users to put them to sleep.
AI is even for the dogs, with this bot that can play fetch with Fido and reward him with a special treat. Organizers expect roughly 130,000 attendees at this year's event. CES 2024 ends Friday. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
Pretty cool what you can do with technology. Well, as migrants continue to cross the U.S. border in record numbers, more people are wanting to see the leaders being held accountable.
Migrants are crossing into the U.S. at record numbers, and the man in charge of securing the border is taking the heat from Republicans. I'm Rebecca Castor in Washington with the latest on impeachment efforts against Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas coming up.
With migrants crossing the border at record numbers, lawmakers are looking for someone to blame. Republicans are pointing the finger at Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, and calls for his impeachments are growing louder. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
Americans are demanding accountability. We must fire Secretary Mayorkas.
He's the man in charge of securing the U.S. border. And with migrants crossing illegally at record numbers, Secretary Mayorkas is taking the heat from Republicans on Capitol Hill.
Clearly, he needs to go.
Secretary Mayorkas testified that the border is secure. That's a lie.
A vote of no confidence was blocked by Senate Democrats Tuesday, just one day before House Republicans start impeachment proceedings against the Homeland Security Secretary.
You can't take an oath to defend the Constitution and violate the very founding principles of that Constitution and be a cabinet secretary.
Cities like Chicago, Denver, and New York say they're overwhelmed by the migrant surge, with one Brooklyn high school even pushing students to remote learning Wednesday to house migrants during bad weather.
What we are experiencing at the southern border is not unique to the southern border or to the United States. The entire hemisphere is gripped with a level of migration that is unprecedented in recent history.
That's Secretary Mayorkas' response to the record number of illegal crossings. And he says it's up to Congress to fix the problem with new border policy.
We now need Congress to do their part and act.
Secretary Mayorkas has been involved in border talks with a bipartisan group of senators for weeks now, but it remains to be seen if lawmakers will be able to reach a deal. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
The American Red Cross is currently in a shortage of blood donations.
We don't particularly like declaring emergencies. We're only doing it because the need is that great.
But it's also a great chance for you to help out. More on the details after your Weather Authority forecast with Travis.
Some lingering showers for the next hour and a half. We're dry after midnight, a little fog developing, but still a very active weather pattern for the next 7 days. I'll tell you what's coming down the pike after this.
And now, your CBS 19 Weather Authority forecast from the Bright Star Care Charlottesville Weather Center.
Only a few lingering showers about the area that'll drift through between now and midnight. Some clearing happening around and west of Charlottesville, though I am noticing some pockets of fog in some of the tower cams. So visibility could be down overnight, plus still a lot of swollen streams and creeks, water now running into some of the local rivers where there could be minor flooding. Water passages could be waterlogged. Please, if you encounter any water-covered roadway overnight tomorrow morning, turn around, find another route. Look at this corridor of 2 to 3 inches of rain from D.C., Culpeper, Charlottesville, Lynchburg, Roanoke, Martinsville, the heavy hitter at 3 1/3 inches on this map, and even 2 inches plus in Farmville and Richmond. Faulty rain gauge in Fredericksburg. I assure you they got something in the gauge today. Now, as far as flood warning is concerned, some of them expired 11:30. Fluvanna, Louisa County, yours go until 7 a.m. tomorrow, as a lot of streams around the area, around those counties, I should say, are still swollen and waterlogged. Now, most of the rain we got today, not counting towards this coming Thursday state drought monitor, because it happened after the Tuesday morning cutoff. So we got to wait until next Thursday to find out. But this coming Thursdays will include what we got this past weekend. So I'm optimistic this rain is doing us some good. Sun cloud mix, a little breezy on Wednesday, a couple of sprinkles in the afternoon. 50 the high in Charlottesville tomorrow, Arvonia 51, 49 for Lovingston, Standardsville and Culpeper, Orange and Gordonsville, a high of 51, 49 for Palmyra, 50 in Louisa, 53 in Gum Spring, Bremo Bluff 51, and for the Valley commuters, mid-40s in Harrisonburg and Stanton, 46 in Waynesboro. Storm system leaves, the pinwheel, the driver of the system moves through tomorrow. We're clear after that. Some more rain Friday night into Saturday morning. Monday night into Tuesday morning, a little more rain possible, maybe some overnight snow. How about the temperatures though? They're going down. 56 tomorrow, or should I say Thursday. Seasonable temperatures into the weekend, but then by this time next week, Alexia, we're talking daytime highs in the middle 30s.
All right, Travis, thank you. Health check now. A warning from the American Red Cross, the organization that supplies about 40% of the nation's blood, has declared an emergency shortage in supplies. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on where we stand and how you can help.
A state of emergency. The American Red Cross says blood supplies are critically low across the U.S.
We don't particularly like declaring emergencies. We're only doing it because the need is that great.
The organization's medical director says an additional 8,000 blood donations are needed each week in January to keep up with hospital demand.
Without an increase in blood donation over the next couple of weeks, there won't be enough blood in hospital blood banks in order to allow doctors to respond to emergencies.
Low blood supplies impact surgeries and people with chronic diseases like sickle cell and cancer who require blood and platelet transfusions. The Red Cross says the number of people donating blood in the U.S. has fallen by about 40% over the last 2 decades, and winter weather and respiratory viruses could impact donor turnout in the weeks ahead, making the current shortage even worse. While all blood types are urgently needed, the Red Cross says they're especially in need of platelets and blood from Group O donors.
There's no way to get blood from anywhere besides a donor's arm, and that blood that you donate could be used to save the life of somebody who's been in a car accident. It could be used to help save a newborn baby, or it could be used to help get a cancer patient through their treatment.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And anyone interested in donating blood can make an appointment by using the Red Cross Blood Donor app. Rapper A$AP Rocky was in a Los Angeles court yesterday. The 35-year-old pleading not guilty on 2 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic weapon. Rocky, whose given name is Rakim Mayers, is accused of pointing a handgun at another rapper and former friend, Terrell Efron, during an argument. Now, he is then said to have fired the weapon twice in Efron's direction during a second confrontation, both of which took place on November 6, 2021. Prosecutors say that Efron suffered minor injury during that shooting. A$AP Rocky's attorney had this to say.
It was just an arraignment on the information. The 2 charges were read to him. He pled not guilty, and we left. So that's it. He won't be making appearances on every court date. You heard us do that 977 waiver, which simply just allows him not to have to appear for just routine status conferences. And, we hope to be on trial by September in this case.
The Mayers was arrested in April of 2022 in connection with the altercation. He was charged in August of that year. One of the most powerful entertainment duos get a different kind of record deal for 2023. Hip-hop couple Jay-Z and Beyonce landed the most expensive sale ever for a California home. Last year, the couple purchased a $190 million mansion in Malibu. The 42,000 square foot home was designed by Japanese architect Tadao Ado Ironically, the next highest sale for a California house was right next door, a $177 million home purchased in 2021. I mean, if you have the money, you might as well. It's crazy. Astronomers may have solved an out-of-this-world mystery about odd radio circles in the sky. Now, these cosmic objects are also known as ORCS, and they were first seen in 2019. Scientists say that these rings are so big that they span hundreds of thousands of light years, with entire galaxies at their centers. Over the years, numerous theories about the space rings evolved, including that they were wormhole throats or even remnants of black hole collisions. However, according to research published on Monday, it appears that the circles are shells. Wow, it's pretty interesting.
Space is the place. Breezy tomorrow, a couple sprinkles, better chance for rain late Friday into Saturday morning. Some more showers next Monday into Tuesday morning that could end up with some overnight snow.
We'll hope for that snow, right? But we need the rain, so I mean, that's pretty good, I guess. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.